So welcome everybody to the news segment, September 16, 2022. My name is Ken. Thank you so much for joining us. We were expecting a second guest tonight, but sadly, capitalism. And this guest may not be able to make it. We were supposed to have True Colors on tonight, but I think they're going out with some issues right now that they need to address than just a, struggling podcast out of Michigan. My name is Ken. Let's go around and see what everybody is drinking, starting with Rob. Rob, what do you got over there?
Oh, shit. I started with that. So I am breaking out with a little mixed cocktail. I'm hitting up with some Russell's 10-year bourbon and adding some ginger beer to go with that. I'm also probably going to have, thanks to Wendy, a can of Don't Lay a Finger, the pastry stout from Listerman, which has a nice, Simpsons reference that's going on here, which basically it is a Butterfinger style pastry stout. And Listerman can never go wrong with them making pastry stouts. They just need to keep doing that.
Wendy, what are you drinking?
So I continued on with our Dogfish Head trend, and I opened up a 90-minute IPA. Man, I forget how good that is. And I also have, I believe 10th and Blake was on our show at one point.
Yes.
And I have a Hop Valley Bubble Stash with cryo hops from them.
Nicholas, what do you got?
I'm finishing up the Vodka Crush from Dogfish Head Distilling, and on that note, I am about to crack open the Namaste from Dogfish Head.
Daniel, are you tanked at 520?
No, I'm working on a 805. God, he threw me off. I was sleeping.
Beautiful glass.
Firestone Walker.
Firestone Walker. Former guest on the show. We also, for me, I've got a Sam Adams Wicked Hazy New England IPA and a Dogfish Head 60-minute IPA. Why am I drinking IPAs? Well, that's what they sent me, and it's not going to get drank unless I drink them. Therefore, that is just what's going to happen. That's Dan, you're okay with just letting them sit, and
I sure am.
Never for me. I've been doing my best to try to empty my fridge so that I can go back and try to maybe focus a little bit more on either spirits or seltzers. But beer just keeps coming. With that, we were prepared to have another guest, as I mentioned, on the show. But at this time, we do not have the guests, so we're kind of scrambling a little bit for this news segment. It has been a whirlwind of news, and we'll touch briefly real quick before I pass it off to Rob for his article. But Dogfish Head was recently on our show. They're actually closing their Miami brew pub, one of the two.
At Miami, Ohio?
That would be Miami, Florida. And the reason for that is that they were getting a rent hike, causing them to basically say that we just cannot be in business anymore, which we saw here in Michigan with Sellerman's when Sellerman's closed. So we do kind of understand. But with the first week of NFL in the books and start of the second week, Rob, what is your article about?
First week of NFL. First, I will have to say, as most people pretty much know, that I am a lifelong Steelers fan, despite the fact that I have lived in Detroit or at least in the Detroit area for my entire life, that I have been a Steelers fan since roughly being about 8 or 9 years old. And I will be hopefully not the first one in Steelers Nation to admit that we had no business winning week one.
Yeah.
We had no business whatsoever.
Don't lose to Jacoby. Don't lose to him.
Our offense was shit. I will say that was probably one of the best defensive games the Steelers have had in probably the last 7 years. But our offense was absolute shit. And the fact that we actually got away with that one, and their kicker, the Bengals kicker, that dude is money. Him missing a 26-yarder in overtime, that was just unheard of. So I'm just going to throw that out there. We should basically be 0-1. So I'm just going to put that out there.
I don't want to confuse you. This show is called Better on Draft, not football draft, but beer draft. So
he's ramping up to that.
What's going on in beer?
I was wrapping that up, but basically I was just saying that just to kind of segue into an article I ran into on Axios about the NFL teams that have the most expensive beer. Hopefully, I don't know if you guys have looked at this yet, but I guess I'm kind of curious to kind of go around the room in terms of the locations that you think may have the most expensive beer. And I will just say, actually, you know what? I'm not even going to throw it out there. I want to see what you guys will say. So I'm going to start with Nick on this one, and you just give me a team that you think is that has the most expensive beer, and we'll see where they rank.
I actually think I know the answer to this because I think I saw the article. So don't
take a guess on that.
I want to say it's Washington.
It is not Washington.
It's not Washington.
Washington is fifth. They are fifth.
Oh, I was up there.
Let me take a crack at this, Rob.
They are tied. They are tied at fifth. All right, Dan, go ahead.
Because I'm pretty sure we did this article a year or two ago. So if nothing's changed, number 1's going to be Las Vegas. Number 2 is going to be LA.
No, Las Vegas would be third. LA would be second. So going back to one. Yeah, so going back to Washington, Washington is fifth at $11. LA is third at $12. And then LA, obviously they have both teams, Rams and Chargers. They are third at $13.75.
Who's opened a new stadium in the last couple of years? That's probably your answer.
Vegas and the Chargers and Rams. SoFi and Allegiant are the newest
Wendy,
stadiums.
I already looked at the article, so Wendy can take a guess.
So Wendy, anything for sports ball? I can't guess
because I looked at the article too, and I've also seen the stadium, so I understand why.
So the number one, the most expensive beer sits in Philadelphia. The Eagles have an average beer price at $14.67.
Jesus Christ, beer. No wonder why they always assault each other at the stadium. Come on.
No, you think it'd be the opposite because they can't afford enough beers to get that drunk.
What they do is they drink in the parking lot and then they buy one beer inside the stadium and then they kick the hell out of each other.
Wendy, go ahead.
Okay, so I know absolutely nothing about football, but I know that I have had beers at Ford Field, and I have never paid $6.25 for a beer. It's always been way up there. So, maybe I'm walking farther to find craft beer, but are they including craft beers in that? Because I know $6.25 is not the average at Ford Field. And
that's Budweiser.
$14.67. What are they charging you for it for $14?
So I can tell you this, Wendy, being a loser season ticket holder for now 40-something years.
Come on, man. You had Hard Knocks. This is the year. This is the year.
Whatever. Anyway, the six. What was it for Detroit, Rob?
So at dead last, dead last was Lions, Falcons, and Jets at $6.25.
Okay, so here's what they're doing. They are trying to get people to come in at the very beginning of when the doors open. They do this power hour thing from like 11 to 12. And it's in one spot inside Ford Field. And they have discounted beer. So that way they can get you into the damn stadium. And then they can start leeching your money after power hour ends. It's only in one spot. It's in the atrium of the stadium. So if you go down between Comerica Park and the Elwood Bar and Grill.
Oh, the Elwood.
Down that street,
right down the street.
Go through that. That's what I consider the main entrance of Ford Field. Those doors right
Fair,
there.
Yeah.
The power hour, I believe, is somewhere in that spot. Is where you will find the cheaper beer, and it's only from the hours of 11 to 12, an hour 2 hours before kickoff. So because the doors open 2 hours before the kickoff.
Drinking the morning
So
beers.
wait a minute. So
Who's
basically,
paying
this
for beers 2 hours before kickoff?
Well, I guess
A
that's
lot
the
of
thing.
people.
That
A lot of people.
That was kind of going to be my question. Is this kind of like trying to get people to come in to take away from tailgaters?
I think so. I think that's part of it. And then when you think about it, when you're drinking, you're gonna keep going. You're gonna keep wanting more, and then you're gonna pay $12 a beer, $13 a beer. In this case, I went for the home opener. I spent $16 on a Bell's Amber.
One
30-something bucks for 2 beers.
Yeah.
And you got in. I remember you said.
I guess I'm not getting my nachos this week.
And I remember you said that you got in late. You missed that. They missed that opening drive touchdown.
I missed the first
He missed the power hour.
Wow, I'm never there for power hour, Wendy. Don't get me wrong.
Well, you should be. You should be.
No, look, I paid $2,300.
No, he's drinking the free beer in the parking lot, Dan, like everybody else.
No, you know what beer I'm drinking? The beer that gets mailed to me on this damn show. That's the beer I'm drinking.
The Falcons.
Hold on, Rob.
Go ahead.
I gotta tell
go
a
ahead.
quick,
Yeah, go ahead.
quick little anecdote because Nick and I went to a game once, and we went to a place called Mario's, which had a shuttle, and they were trying
food.
They were trying
Italian
to
restaurant.
Kick all the Oberon that they had, and at one point they had $20, I believe it was, all you can drink Oberon, and they gave it to us before the game. And when we came back on the shuttle, they honored it.
They honored it.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Was I still living in Detroit, Ken?
I would say yes.
Okay. It might all right. Might have been like might have been right around the time where my dad.
I mean, I have a feeling I know which game it is, Nick, but I'm not going to tell you which.
It's the Dallas game that we left early. I get it.
Ooh.
That we end up coming back and winning.
Rob, go on before we continue.
I was going to say that, with the low end, with the 3 being the Lions, Falcons, and Jets, I will say that with the Falcons, that they had been trying to do a lot of concession changes on their end, where they are trying to make it more family affordable to get people to come in and see the game and be able to have like basically a family of 4 to enjoy the game and not have to basically create a second mortgage or a HELOC to be able to afford feeding a family. And I understand with their prices. I didn't know with Ford Field and the Lions and how there's that power hour. So that's new to me. Like generally whenever I try to go to a game, that I don't buy a whole heck of a lot, just because I try to, like with my kids, that I try to teach about, this is the cost of convenience. And this is what you have to pay when you walk into the place. So you should probably eat and drink before you walk in.
Yeah.
So I try not to. So just to kind of go through the list here. Like I said, the Eagles are at the top at $14.67, Rams and Chargers at $13.75, Raiders at $12. At $11.50 are the 49ers, Saints, and Jaguars. Which, I mean, the Jaguars
shocked. They were doing free beers at one point a few years ago to get people into that stadium. That kind of surprises me.
They should continue to do
They
so.
probably should.
At $11, the Dolphins, Giants, Commanders. $10.50, Titans, Seahawks, Panthers. At $9.50, Cowboys, Packers. At $9.29 would be my beloved Steelers, which,
$9.29.
I know it's an average. It's still too high. I mean, I feel like it's too high, but then again, it's like what I try to teach my kids. It's the cost of convenience. You go to Cedar Point. I can't buy 5 waters at Cedar Point and not spend $30. That's just what it is. I hate it. But that's
you could buy 5 beers.
Yeah, I could. At $8.80, Bears and Bills. $8.63, the Buccaneers. $8.50, the Chiefs, aka the Chefs. At $8.40, the Patriots. $8.13, Ravens, Browns, Cardinals. At $8, Texans, Vikings, Colts. $7.50 would be the Broncos. $6.59, the Bengals. And then at $6.25, Lions, Falcons, Jets. So that is
Jets.
That's pretty much the list. The average price of the beer by division, the highest, of course, being the NFC East, which I always feel the NFC East always overvalues themselves way too high, and they don't represent the NFC conference as a whole. So their whole division averages at 11.54. The lowest division by average is the AFC North, because we beat the shit out of each other, and we need to drink beer to beat the shit out of each other. That averages at $8.03. So that is the lowest.
I do have a question now, Rob. What were the lowest three again?
Detroit.
The lowest three was Detroit, Atlanta, New York Jets.
Where did the Giants fall into this?
The Giants were fifth, tied at $11 with the Dolphins, Giants, and Commanders. I get where you're going, because they're both playing the same stadium.
They play in the same damn stadium.
They play in the same stadium.
How is that possible? Wait, and where are the Chargers? You didn't mention the Chargers.
And Rams.
Were they the same?
Yes, Chargers and Rams are the same at $13.75.
Okay, so they're lowering beer prices for the Jets games. I love it.
I mean, someone needs to see if Zach Wilson can do what he needs to do.
I mean, I don't want to, because shit. Don't go there with your mom.
Don't go there with your mom.
I don't get that.
Sound advice.
Before we pass this on, if you guys head on over to Twitter and you follow Pints and Panels, a great artist who does a lot of beer art did beer styles that match with your team, and Michigan was the English mild.
Mild team, mild beer. Yeah,
I was going with Ghetto Blaster as Michigan Detroit staple, but sure, Dan, mild team. You know what, Dan, you go next. What news article do you have?
I will go next. Let me just pull it up here. Found an interesting article covering some numbers from over the Labor Day weekend. So this is going a couple weeks back here, about a week or so again at this point. Coming off of Drizly, we've actually seen light lagers and American lagers grow in share as far as sales go. Light lagers grew 9%. American lagers grew 19% as far as sales goes. Another big thing, too, is the RTD section actually outsold seltzers for the first time on Drizly. So this kind of brings around the question, because, and we kind of talk about it from time to time. Are we just those outliers now? I don't want anything to do with light lagers. I don't want anything to do with American lagers. Seltzers, if I have to drink one, it's kind of like licking a TV screen, getting that static. But, are we, and we're older here now, even Ken is at this point, are we like a dying breed of people that like 10% beers and above, where everyone's drinking, basically, and I sit here with an 805. Are people really moving out? You okay, Rob?
Why the fuck do I know what that tastes like?
Well, I want to say one thing, and I think you guys might agree with me, is that seltzers existed in the vacuum pre-RTDs because everybody wanted the RTDs. And now that RTDs are here and you can get the more flavorful drinks, then why do you need the seltzers anymore?
That's a fair point.
So I think no matter what, because this is Drizly, so this is delivery, so this is people who are most likely purchasing for parties or during parties, or at that point where they're buying more in bulk, because not many people in our area of the alcohol world buy from Drizly.
I wonder why.
Well, we typically want to see the label. We want to build that rapport with the local liquor store owner, like Jack Zatuna over at Zatuna Liquor in Rochester Hills, just south of M59 on Rochester Road. Been a minute since I did one of those.
Well done.
I know. Yeah.
But that's what we want. We want to build that rapport. We want to look at the labels. We want to look at the beers. We want to see what's new. Whereas Drizly is more for easy. It's more for parties. And people like us, when we're going to parties, we're bringing 10 percenters. We're bringing 20 percenters. We're bringing bombers to share. So that's where I think that this gives us a improperly skewed data set. If there was a demographic that you could create of craft beer fans, I think you would get a lot different. But I still think if you're buying from Drizly, you're going to be buying the lower ABV stuff. And those that are, the story is that RTDs outsold seltzers. It's just a world of where seltzers were a replacement until RTDs existed. So
I'm glad you actually brought this up, because there's actually an interesting number in here. So if you have looked at the article, the top 9 of the top 10 sellers are lagers, and then the 10th is an IPA. Their IPA sales are actually down 10% between this year and 2021. So it's not, they were moving IPAs from the looks of it. It just seems that it's gone down at some point here, or people are moving in favor of the lagers, whether it be a light lager, an American lager, anything like that, even a Mexican lager.
Do you think it could be a COVID thing?
Switching over to lagers? I don't know.
No, not switching over to lagers, but not buying on Drizly anymore.
It's tough to say. You don't have Drizly in Michigan, do you?
No. We could technically get alcohol from Shipped, but Drizly obviously is coming from like party stores, not Meyer.
So not only do we have Drizly out here, you can order liquor and alcohol on Uber Eats now, and all of the apps basically where you can order from. And I always use that as if I'm too drunk to leave the house, because I've got, craft beer store is half a block away. So it's tough to say. I've always personally used it as, hey, I can't really drive. Maybe I should just order it this way. I don't know if other people do the same.
Wait, it's half a block away and you order it anyways?
Yeah,
okay.
Of course.
I don't feel so bad now. Thank you.
I don't trust myself. I would do the same. I would do the same thing.
Like, I'm not driving. I drive a Camaro.
My whole fucking week.
Yeah, I drive a Camaro. I'm going to get pulled over instantly.
No, I mean, it's a half a block away and you couldn't walk to get it.
Oh, no. I don't want to deal with meth heads. I don't want to deal with anything. So
Dan's gonna be the first.
I feel
person
so
on
much
the show
better right
to get
now.
Like a drunken public going to the beer store to stock up on beer while drunk.
Shit, I just got a COVID booster that's a half a block away, and I still drove because I didn't want to walk that shit.
But I think statistics is all about. This would have been a great topic for CJ, actually, our guest from Dogfish Head earlier this week, being an analyst, being able to break down these numbers. But I think there's a lot to take in, but I think there's a lot of data and information that we can guess, but we will never really know.
Right.
So we've seen over, I don't know, I can't even say how long, but we have seen a trend of the brewers and the people working at the breweries who are wishing for more lagers and light lagers. Why would we not expect that to start to show up in the people who are buying the beer?
I mean, I agree. I was on a show called Beer in Front earlier this week. I think it got released today to promote the update to the Michigan Brewery Map app. If you guys didn't know, we added cideries and meaderies to the Map app. So basically any site that creates hard cider, mead, or craft beer is going to be on the Map app themselves. Go download the Map app for free at mibeermap.com. I agree that there's some self-correction from the crazy high ABV, the brewery, the 90-minute 9% IPA. What was the beer you gave me before the Lions game, Dan? Like a barrel-aged Scotty Karate?
Yeah, it was a Scotty Karate.
Like I think we're self-correcting a little bit and being a little bit more sessionable on the beers that we want. But the beers themselves that were being purchased on this app are Bud Light, Corona, Coors, Miller, Modelo, like not stuff that we normally drink. It's stuff to fill a party room, not a...
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's my thought. Wendy, you could disagree with me. You're more than welcome to.
No, I mean, I totally get what you're saying. I'm just saying eventually we're going to start to see that shift a little bit.
Needs to shift the other way, honestly.
You think it's going to go back to the like higher and higher ABVs?
No,
then?
I think we'll start to see like people actually buying more of the. If the brewers want to see more lagers and light lagers, and they're starting to make more of them, we're going to start seeing other people buy them. It's not just the brewers that are looking for those types of beers.
Dan, did you say you think it was going to go the other way?
It needs to go the other way, I think. But that's me personally.
I mean, I agree with that personally too, but
I mean, I think we've kind of beat this to the end. Dan, did you have anything else you wanted to?
No, we covered it.
Boom.
Bam.
Wendy, what's going on in your world?
So my article is a little bit outdated because we haven't done news in a little while. But I think it's kind of an important topic to talk about because, I'm the consummate volunteer. And Bell's came out on August 15th and announced the launch of its Inspired Giving campaign, which is the company's first official grassroots grant program dedicated to giving back to the communities where Bell's beer is distributed. And I thought it was really cool because they talked about the fact that even though they've been bought out by a bigger entity, they're still looking into their local communities, and they're still the same people. And I think we've talked about that quite a bit on the show. So I thought it was cool. It guaranteed that $480,000 will be donated to nonprofits, programs, and organizations dedicated to supporting clean water and water habitat protection by the year's end. And that number came from the number of barrels that they sold in 2021, which I thought was pretty cool. They're going to sell $1 or for every barrel they sell, they're going to donate $1, which I thought was pretty cool. The recipients don't have to be in Southwest Michigan, but their work does need to be focused on water conservation efforts or equitable water access in areas across the continental U.S. where Bell's does business. And Bell's is currently distributing beer in 43 states, in addition to Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. So I just thought it was really cool. I wanted to make sure that people knew that this was going on.
Is there anything that we, the consumer, can do, or is this all Bell's doing it?
Buy Bell's beer.
Buy Bell's
because
beer.
every barrel that they sell, they're going to donate. So, and they did say that they're going to make sure that they're going to, every year that will increase depending on what their sales are. But that was the number that they started with. And I just thought it was something that we really needed to talk about. Does it make a difference to you guys that they're doing this? Does it make sense that Bell's, who is a brewery that is in a state that is surrounded by fresh water, wants to work on water conservation? What are your guys' opinions?
It's good to see. I mean, I'm glad that, they still have these, kind of philanthropic efforts that are still going on, despite the fact that they have been, acquired. I kind of feel like I get annoyed with the amount of water that get pumped out of our Great Lakes from Nestle and put into bottles. Yeah, I'm trying to stay away from the politics of that, but knowing that, that Bell's is still kind of keeping up with their efforts. I mean, I guess kind of feeling like I want to see a little bit more, but at the other end, I don't know their financials. I'm not an accountant. I don't know what their books look like, and I don't know how much they can put towards their philanthropic efforts that would still help them sustain being a brewery and keep their employees working. Because obviously, it's equivalent exchange. You take away from money that you take away from the people that are working for you. That, I want to keep seeing that that continuance of effort in working towards, a sustainable environment, because a lot of water gets used in making all of this beer with all these breweries that we have. And
as Matt Bush would say, water is 90% beer.
90% beer. Exactly. So there's a lot of those, as they say, trying to solve society's most pressing social and environmental challenges, that we have a lot of challenges. We have a lot of water and California doesn't. So, there's a lot of water that's out there that, we're using to make beer with these 7,000 plus breweries, and in the midst of having forest fires. So, I applaud their efforts and want to keep seeing them, putting money where it helps with sustainability and the environment, because there's so much to get used in every facet of what we do in daily life. And it'll be, I guess just better for all of us. I don't know.
I think those who are looking for Bell's will purchase. Like for me, when I see Bell's Amber, usually I'll go buy a 6-pack. This will not, and not in a negative way, will not make me go buy more Bell's. Like I'm not going to go out and buy Bell's instead of Xer, but
no,
it's going to be in the back of my mind that of what they do. Kind of like how things Founders has done is in the back of my mind when I go into a store and decide what to buy. I'll regularly just buy my beer. I think hopefully maybe for people who are like, oh, do I want Two Hearted or Centennial? They'll be like, oh, I'll buy Two Hearted now. But for me, I don't foresee. I don't think there's ever been a brew, unless it's like been like a local brewery doing something for like a very local community. Like X is doing it for Y. Like if Eastern Market's doing something for, or I think Ferndale Project did something for the local LGBTQ organization out there. So like those kinds of things, I might be like, oh, you're doing a 1-day thing. Okay, I'm going to go support the 1-day thing. But now it's just going to be in the back of my head, like, all right, but Bell's is doing this. This is great. Now the next time I go out, if I'm debating between, and not to knock what I'm about to say, Big Lake's Amber versus Bell's Amber, I might be like, you know what? I know what Bell's does. I'm going to do something for Bell's. But I also know Big Lake does a bunch of philanthropic things that I can't keep it all in my head. So it'll be in my head, but it won't be the deciding factor that I'm going to go out and buy Bell's. I don't know if anybody else feels the same way or understands the verbal excrement that I just spewed out trying to explain my position.
I feel the same way about that.
It's great. I love it. I appreciate it. I mean, if you look at the brewery numbers for Bell's, they're already pre-COVID numbers in 2021, brewing the same amount that they were in 2019. So they're doing good, and they're going to probably do even better now that, they've got New Belgium and their distribution footprint.
Definitely.
Before we move on, though, I do want to say that those interested in applying for grant funds have through October 15th to apply. And the awards are anticipated to range between $500 and $5,000 up to $100,000. And invested parties can visit bellsbeer.com/inspired-giving to apply.
And you can also listen to our interview with John Mallett, episode 223, Better on Draft podcast from June 2020.
Damn good interview.
Over 2 years ago, we talked to this guy. Nick.
Nice. Wow, haven't heard that one in forever. Not a whole lot. Gonna go to the state of Minnesota, where the Little Thistle Brewing Company, based out of Rochester, Minnesota, is releasing one of the first THC infused beers in the state of Minnesota. Interestingly enough, in the state of Minnesota, recreational marijuana is not legal. It's decriminalized in the state of Minnesota. So They will, however, and just recently, in a surprise move by the legislative branch in the state of Minnesota, they did legalize THC and cannabis to be used in food and beverage up to a certain number of milligrams. 5 milligrams is the limit that they can legally use this in food and beverage. But Little Thistle Brewing just this week releasing an 8-ounce can of what they call their strawberry flavor of a non-alcoholic beer with strawberry flavoring and what they call a little something extra. And the name of the beer is called Chill. And from what I see on social media right now, people are clamoring for it there in the town of Rochester, Minnesota. Question to you, probably very, very easy question. Is this going to be opening the floodgates for potential future legalization of cannabis? Maybe not necessarily a beer related question, but is this the start of, could this turn into something bigger for the state of Minnesota just by putting a little bit of THC in a beer like this one?
So I want to make one point while Rob's finishing his thinking face, and I'll pass it to him. If you're not watching the video, obviously go to youtube.com/betterondraft. You can check out the videos and all the videos over the last couple of years of the Better on Draft podcast. For those of you that don't know, so these THC beers are beer flavored THC drinks. They're all non-alcoholic. They're all usually 0.0. I don't know if they're AFs or NAs, but they're all 0.0s, just like two roots. So they're going to taste like a beer, but have THC in them, just like any other THC drink you might get. It's going to have the flavor, but not the alcohol. So you can't do both. As much as we are on the precipice of hopefully decriminalizing and legalizing marijuana in the U.S., can't do both. Can't get high and have alcohol in the same drink. Rob, what was on your mind? You were in deep thought.
Just really the thought of the flavor profile that, when you have all of these cannabis and THC drinks and the flavor profile that end of the spectrum gives you, and then you add the beer on top of it, it still just feels so experimental that the flavor profile just is not there yet. Like it basically, like anything that is THC or cannabis infused, that it's, oh, this tastes like beer, and then, oh, this tastes like fucking dirt. Like, oh, but it's THC. Like, there's this weird, this flavor profile that comes off when you talk about THC and cannabis, that it adds such a different flavor profile when you're trying to do beer, that I really have not found a way to necessarily enjoy that yet. So, like, it's great that Minnesota has been able to do this and put that out there. It's a start. It's just obviously, and like what we were talking with CJ at Dogfish Head, that there's a lot of regulations that still need to be changed in order for it to be put out to the masses nationwide. Yeah. And until we get to that point, I don't feel like it's going to have the flavor profile that non-cannabis users are going to be used to and enjoy, until it comes out to be able to be experimented on to change the flavor profile to a point where general beer drinkers and seltzer drinkers and hard cider drinkers are going to be able to enjoy, because that cannabis and THC flavor is going to kick in, and it's going to be like, why the fuck did I just stick the 20-yard line into my fucking mouth?
20-yard line.
Well, hold on. Let's take a quick poll. Is there anyone on this chat, since cannabis is technically legal or decriminalized recreationally in both of our states? And when I say both, I mean all the four of us and Dan. Does anybody actually partake in cannabis, weed, THC, whatever it is? Like I personally do. Does anybody else? Nick's raising his hand. Dan's saying no.
I mean, I've had a few things. Kurt, shout out to my brother Scott and his little gummies from time to time that I've had in the past. And it's just like, oh wait, this tastes like cherry. Oh wait, this tastes like fucking dirt. Where?
I think you need to get a better choice. That's what
I'm gonna agree with.
No,
Nick
I have too many things to do.
Yeah. So I'll say it. I take it gummies for sleeping, and it was the best decision I've ever made.
Yep, I've been trying to use it. I've been trying to use it as a sleep aid and trying different brands and stuff, and it doesn't work for me. But
it works for me. I found the brand, and now I'm migrating over into the chocolates that this company makes. And they're nice little packages. They're small portions. They're perfect. So I don't go out full blown with it. I just do the sleep aid part of it. Have I partaken on other stuff? Yes. Is it for me? Probably not, but it's there.
I think it's important to know which of us do partake or not, because whether you do or not, one, it's legal or decriminalized, and two, it's a vice, it's a choice, and you can choose to use it or not to use it, which is perfectly fine. I haven't necessarily found a beer that I've just enjoyed. Like it's for the price. Because you're paying for the price of the THC.
Are they expensive? Oh, I have no idea.
No, in this particular case, Dan, they are selling these cans for this one brewery, 8-ounce cans. I thought I saw a $6 price tag per can for 8 ounces.
And how much THC is in it?
5 milligrams.
That's low, isn't it?
It's the maximum they can go legally without breaking the law.
Oh, gotcha.
So 5. It all depends, one, on your tolerance, but two, like 5 milligrams is very. It's not high, but it's not nothing. You should get something out of it. There are like cereal cans are about $13 a piece. I don't recall the one. I had a Belgian wit that was a THC beer in Denver. But it literally, like, for me, like, THC really doesn't do much for me. Except for there was a time post, we had an interview with Latitude 42, Chris Reynolds, fan of the show.
Yeah.
Hoping to see him for episode 300. But we went to a local, we'll say, meadery. You could probably gather local meadery where I was. And somebody brought some medical grade stuff. And that was one of the last times I ever had an Uber somewhere because I was just so high. But again, what pre-legalization, weed was a lot duller. Weed now, because it is brewed and made and created in laboratories and not, Nick's cousin's house or something like that.
From his grow house.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's Nick's cousin's house, let's be honest.
Oh, true. But a lot of the stuff, especially the 5 milligram THC or 10 milligram, like it's very, very pungent.
Right.
Quality wise, so you're getting the full 5 to 10 milligrams. You're not getting sticks and stems.
No sticks, no.
So yeah, you're. Thank you, Rob. You understood the right. So that's. I feel like there's going to be a trend, but I don't think it's going to carry on that much to where it's just going to be like a segment within the industry, but nothing that's going to take away from anyone.
And I think just going into your strains is going to depend on what strains you get to use, whether it be your Luke Skywalker or your Tommy Pickles.
You're just saying things now. No,
Maybe he had a little bit of
He's just talking.
Tommy Pickles strain of weed. Yeah.
Tommy Pickles.
I would not be surprised if there was a Tommy Pickles.
Really
strain.
Quickly.
I know I am making that shit up, but I feel confident that somebody has made a Tommy Pickles.
We're going to see that on the market now
Silk
soon.
Road there for you, Rob. Really quickly.
On Silk Road? What year is this?
Really quickly, by the numbers, states with legal medical cannabis, 37 states out of the 50, including 4 out of 5 territories, plus the District of Columbia. For recreational use, 19 states, including Guam, the Northern Mariana Islands, and Washington, D.C., and 12 other states, including the Virgin Islands, which includes Minnesota, have decriminalized its use. Other states like Texas and Wisconsin, Georgia, the Carolinas, Tennessee, just to name a few, 100% illegal still in the United States.
Yeah, don't get caught with it in Texas.
Yeah, needless to say, I won't be bringing that with me to San Antonio.
No.
Yeah, that is,
I'll have to find an alternative.
One thing to understand is that just because it is legal in Michigan does not mean it is legal federally. So do not fly with it. Do not
fly with it.
Don't harass the border patrol.
Yeah, don't
while you're high or have weed on you.
Yeah, don't do that kind of stuff. I want to end the show. I want to tell you guys a little bit of a fun story because I went to the Burning Foot Beer Festival for the first time ever. And a lot of positive things that I want to compliment. Of course, you can go check out the Burning Foot Beer Festival episode of the Michigan series of Better on Draft just from a few weeks ago. But the festival is a 100 brewery plus live concert festival. For $50, we'll say. I don't know what the actual price was. You can get in. You get 15 drink tickets, plenty of Michigan and non-Michigan breweries that are in there. So we had the opportunity to drink, I think Revolution was there. There was a couple Wisconsin breweries, a couple Illinois breweries, mostly Michigan, but still some out-of-state stuff. Honest to God, one, it was a pain in the ass walking through the sand for 6 hours. Definitely a workout on your calves, to say the least. 2, camping on the beach was amazing. A great experience, especially because it gets nice and chilly at night, so you don't have to worry about sweating your ass off in the end of August in Michigan. Right on Lake Michigan, you wake up and you hear you get your all natural white noise machine for sure. The concerts themselves, quite interesting. For everyone who made fun of the fact that there was a Limp Bizkit cover band,
yes,
please, God,
let me know.
And tell us more about that.
No, I need to hear this. Go.
Honest to God, between the people who were drinking, the brewers, the cellarman over at Austin Brothers literally knew every single word and was running around jamming. Everyone had a blast. Everyone subconsciously knew a lot of like the more casual songs, like your Nookie or your break stuff. And then they had a handful of other bands, Lit, Pacifier, Filter, who replaced Everlast, which was sad because I did want to see Everlast once.
Damn, Filter was there?
Filter was there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Filter's so good.
Plain White Tees closed the show. Great show. Great everything. Like, the festival was put on nice. Everyone's chill. If you can like go check in your shoes so you can just kind of like walk around without getting sand in your shoes. All the money that like went into everything, basically all profit goes to donations to local charities. So like the shoe check-in place is a charity. There was another check-in place that I can't think of what they were checking in, but that went to charity. Like, each one had their own little area. Starving Artist had a little haunted house there that they set up right on the beach.
Wow.
So the festival was great. If you go in, you can come and go as you please. So you can go into the campground and like relax for an hour and come back into the festival, so you don't have to like stay there and drink the whole time. Extra tickets were only $1 a piece, which is dirt cheap compared to some other festivals that we've been to. And there is a restaurant right next to the festival called The Deck. So they had like 8 food trucks there. But if you go to The Deck, it gives you a chance to kind of like sit down and relax. And the portions were amazing. At night, they had like their own band, and their house band was competing against the Plain White Tees, which was hysterical. The festival is a must go to at least once in your life, I believe. So if you're a Michigander, Burning Foot Beer Festival, they not paying me to say this for sure. Because if they were, I'd probably be a lot more structured on what I'm saying. But yeah, the festival itself, easily one of the best festivals I've been to. But here I am, it's 2022, and Dan and I, you get a chance to meet us because we're going to GABF.
Yes, sir.
So we will be there on Thursday. I'll be there on Saturday. Go check us out over at Great America Beer Festival. If you do not get a chance, but you're in Michigan and you want to come to the Better on Draft Beer Festival, that Saturday, October 8th, I believe, in Utica, Michigan.
Accurate.
Dan will be there. So while I'm going to be at GABF in Denver on Saturday, Jan's going to be at the Jimmy John's Field in Utica, Michigan. A few of our hosts will be there. A few of our writers will be there. So go check it out. That is our festival, 5 years running that we've been helping run that festival. So go grab your tickets right now. That is going to do it for the Better on Draft Beer podcast. We have a new Untapped name. You can go follow us. I'm going to have to get this updated on the banner behind me. But our new Untapped name is now Better on Draft. So you can go find us on Untapped. You can go follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, Better on Draft. Watch us live Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern on Facebook and Twitch. And that's going to do it, I think. I think that's everything. I think I've said everything. No matter what you think of your beer, we think it's Better on Draft. Have a good night.
Peace.